Hi, I'm Karissa Vacker, and welcome back to Sleep Wave, a podcast where we let waves of relaxation wash over you through original sleep meditations and hypnosis created to help you fall asleep tonight. We're so passionate about helping you sleep that if we do, please leave a review and share this podcast with anyone you know that might be struggling with their sleep. When you're constantly tired, life gets hard, right? So please help us grow and reach people that really need this right now. You're just one ripple, but together we are Sleep Wave. So how was your week? I hope after last week's meditation, you felt empowered with your sleep and maybe with other parts of your life too. As any new parent will tell you, having a child will turn your pre-child routine on its head. When I'm rocking my baby in the wee hours of the morning, knowing I have a full day of work and childcare ahead of me, and I'd really like to get some exercise in, and oh yeah, I was supposed to connect with that friend I haven't seen in months, and the laundry is piled up sky high. The idea of balance seems so laughable. But still, I love the thought of it. I strive for it. I write it in my planner. Be balanced this week, whatever that means. Clearly, I'm still trying to figure it out. I had a wonderful yoga teacher who, as we were all trying to balance our bodies in some fancy yoga pose, said that the moment you think to yourself, "Look at me, I'm balancing so well," is usually the same moment when you fall out of the pose. Same for when you're struggling to hold the pose, tense and intent on achieving it. Whereas when you're present, still with the breath, even while doing something challenging, maybe even something you're not very good at, you are more likely to be stable, balanced. Balance is the dynamic between our strengths and our weaknesses. You can't have one without the other. Even though I know I'll fall out of the pose eventually, or maybe one part of my life is getting a lot of focus while another is not, in the moments between, if I practice awareness, I can find the balance between where I'm strong and where I'm weak. I can accept it all. And so can you. Keep practicing that, and maybe those moments of balance will become more frequent, but it's still just a moment. It's the act of trying to find that moment of balance that's interesting, be it with your schedule, your health, your time, your money, or your sleep. So whether you are feeling like you have things totally under control or not, whether this stuff is easy or not, know it's all a moving target. Enjoy those sweet moments of, "Look at me, I'm doing it, I'm balancing," while knowing you'll probably fall out of it and come back again and fall out and come back many times over and over. This meditation will help us both find that sweet moment of stillness, steadiness, and peace with exactly who and where we are. Settle in as we drift off together to Inner Balance for a Peaceful Sleep by Billy Gill. In Greek mythology, Achilles was the handsomest, bravest, strongest warrior of the Trojan War. He was dipped into the river Styx, the boundary between life and death, and thus rendered invulnerable. As he was dipped in the river, the goddess of the water held him by his heel, which was then the only part of him that still remained vulnerable. This bit of Western culture still echoes when someone wishes to point out a particular weakness in their character by referring to that as their Achilles heel. It's even made it into anatomy textbooks as the Achilles tendon of the foot. This sleep meditation will use this well-known story to to illuminate something about strengths and weaknesses that is often overlooked. You see, most people think of their weaknesses as something to be overcome and, if possible, eliminated. However, the part of Achilles' foot where he was held, some might say his weakness, was the very source of his power, his strength. The story shows us that the most beautiful, golden aspects of our personality are not ever truly separate from our weaknesses. In fact, it may be that, like Achilles, our weaknesses are exactly why we have those golden aspects at all. When this idea is integrated into our lives, we no longer lie awake at night and torture ourselves for our shortcomings. Instead, we may begin to see them as part of the unique tapestry of our character, relax into wholeness, and find inner balance. When you relax into wholeness, the whole body relaxes, as if we have finally made peace with who we are. Tension melts away, and with it, any obstacles to a peaceful night of sleep. When these obstacles are resolved, an inner balance is found, and sleep comes effortlessly. Make any necessary adjustments to your bedding. Position yourself comfortably and just watch chest rising and falling with your breath. Try to be still if possible, but don't worry if you have to reposition yourself. At the center of the chest, visualize two intersecting triangles. One triangle points downward, the other points upward. The two triangles together form a six-pointed star. The arrow that points downward represents the inertia that all of us have. This is the pull toward our old habits or behaviors that keep us from moving forward in our development. Watch your mind as you meditate on this downward pointing arrow. The aspects of yourself that you would never want anybody else to know. What are the thoughts or emotions that tend to arise when you consider these aspects? Many people will turn away altogether from such an instruction, but looking away or ignoring them doesn't give them any less sway in our behavior. Quite the opposite. Keeping them in the dark will only make their effects in our lives that much more unconscious. For now, just stay with the image of the arrow that is pointing downward. It represents a descending energy into our most ingrained patterns and our most primal energies. The thoughts that may arise about these energies are a simple mental comment, possibly a judgment that is left over from another time in your life. As these thoughts arise, you can draw an imaginary bubble around the comments, and as though you had a mental marker, write thought on the bubble. Go on meditating on these aspects. Visualize the downward arrow, and if thoughts come to disturb your relaxation, mentally circle the thought and label it thought. Go on. Now leave the downward arrow at the center of your chest and direct your awareness to the arrow that points upward. This arrow represents your aspirations. It is the energy that drives us toward the highest vision we have of ourselves. This energy manifests in our lives as the golden aspects of our personality. You know you've found such an aspect when you feel you want to share it with the world. We tend to lead with these aspects when we are interacting with others. They are part of our charm and attractiveness. They are ennobling and admirable. They help us navigate the social world and are generally well received by others. Spend a moment with this upward pointing arrow right at the center of the chest. Just as you did with the other arrow, watch the mental currents of thought which accompany these golden aspects. It is perfectly natural to feel proud of these aspects, but for now, still draw the imaginary bubble around these comments from the mind and label them thought. Making a mental list of all the most wonderful parts of your personality. There's no need to be modest. Go on. Watch the breath at the level of the chest, rising and falling. It may not move much at all, but there will be a slight lift on the inhale and a slight fall on the exhale. These two arrows intersect at the level of the heart. It is because we have these two currents, one going upward and the other going downward, that we are able to have compassion for others. We intuitively know that everyone has to contend with both their aspirational qualities and the inertia of falling back on their more regressive qualities. Together, when they are integrated, when we allow them both to exist, we become whole. Balance is never static. We are dynamic and alive. It is inevitable that there will be times when the upward arrow is dominant and other times when the downward arrow is dominant. Allow yourself to be a whole person. Feel the whole of your body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. The whole body. The whole body. The whole body. The whole body. Bring your attention to your right hand, left hand, both sides together, right arm, left arm, both sides together, the whole of the back body, buttocks, spine, and shoulder blades, the whole of the back, the whole of the front body, pelvis, belly, chest, the whole of the front. Now the head, right ear, left ear, both sides together, right eye, left eye, both sides together, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, both sides together, right cheek, left cheek, both sides together, the chin, lower lip, upper lip, the line where the lips meet, the tip of the nose, the bridge of the nose, the forehead, right temple, left temple, both sides together, the top of the head, the back of the head, the whole body together, the whole body together, the whole body together, the whole body together. Six-pointed star at the center of the chest. One arrow goes up, one arrow goes down. Your strengths depend on your weaknesses. Your weaknesses are the source of your strengths. You are a whole person, sometimes light and sometimes dark, sometimes strong and sometimes weak, sometimes up and sometimes down, dynamic, balanced. Rest in your wholeness. Be as you are. The whole of your personality is relaxed, balanced. Hold together the high and the low. One whole person, totally relaxed, balancing the whole of your being. Six-pointed star at the center of your chest. One arrow pointing up, one arrow pointing down. Where they intersect, you will find balance. When you hold your high with your low, sleep will come. Bring awareness to the lower body, the feet, navel, chest, chest, throat, throat, center of the forehead, center of the forehead, crown of the head, crown of the head, the body as a whole, the body as a whole. Balance in the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Balance in the whole of your personality. Balance in the whole of your body. Whole body. Whole body. Whole body. Whole body. The whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Watch the breath rise and fall at the level of the chest, at the level of the heart, where the high and the low intersect. Chest rising, chest falling, chest rising, chest falling, chest rising, chest falling.